Is Bruno Fernandes a legend at Manchester United? That's the question I'm here to tackle as I also pick your mind on it in the comment section. My name is Webb. Welcome to the United of Sport. And here we are to talk about Captain Fantastic, El Capitano, Bruno, a guy who is breaking and setting records, yet he's yet to win any major title by the standards of Manchester United. Let's get it. Now, listen, guys, the talk is on. We've had the back and forth between many pundits talking about Bruno and his captaining style and how he's not really a great captain. You saw how Captain Fantastic, that is Roy Keane, was attacking him, saying, you know, the way he throws his hands around and don't know his frustrations shown doesn't look good on him as a captain. He bashed him, and I loved how Bruno responded to him, showing that he still respects him, but he will try to do better and improve. He has got to improve in everything. I think for me, that was humility, and he won. But leaving these United legends aside and focusing on the good about the captain, listen, guys, I am one of those players who have been frustrated about Bruno in certain games, but I've never for a moment felt like he's a bad player. In fact, I felt at some point he should leave for himself, not for Man United, not because he's a bad player, but because he needs to be in a better team where he can win titles. We are saying the guy is 30, playing his best football, better than everyone else. Listen, this is a new stat that has just been shared, saying that Bruno Fernandes is the only player in the Premier League to make 60-plus tackles and create 60-plus chances this season. We are talking of a player who is in a struggling Manchester United, the worst team Man United has had in the history of their existence. But the captain is leading by example on and off the pitch. Now, we might have all these feelings about him where in games where it has not gone well for him. I don't know of a single player who has had only good games every day. Honestly, Bruno is human. But there are things about him that make him stand out. His consistency in terms of fitness, but also this is the one player we can consistently say has won the heart of the club, has won the badge on his heart. The badge of Manchester United is seen on his heart whenever he's playing. He fights for the club, even at the lowest of lows, and even the frustrations we saw him, and I think we are seeing less of them lately. But the frustrations of Bruno were always because he was doing so much, and clearly we saw the rest of the players were not really stepping up their game to try and help him. And I can honestly say that my view is that Bruno Fernandes has at times been let down by the support, by the teammates. The team has let him down. He has many a time been giving 150%, fighting and running everywhere and doing his part, but also the part of everyone else. Almost, I think, was almost going to play goalkeeper when Onana was having his worst run. So for me, such a player deserves a bit of credit. And I love how Ruben Amorim keeps talking about him and saying we need to help Bruno. We need to do better for him because he sees what he does in the training. He sees how top a professional he is, but also how consistent he keeps trying and trying, even when the team is so bad. His teammates are not motivated to play. Bruno is the one guy who keeps doing his best for the team. For me, I don't want us to take that for granted. Let's not be those people. So, but the question is he a legend at the club? We know all his stats. There's so many goals he has scored. There's so many assists he has made. And we know how great a player he is. And he has been doing so consistently in the worst Man United teams squads we've seen. But is he a legend at the club? And of course, people look at legends in different ways. There are people who feel legends should be judged on based on what they have won. Like if you are captain of Man United, you cannot be a legend if you've not won a major title. If you've not won a major title, wow, how are you a legend? But with titles aside, because titles are not won by individuals. Titles are won by teams. Now, Bruno has clearly been let down by the teams he has been playing in at Man United. So do we now, assuming that he doesn't win the Premier League title, do we deny him legendary status because he has not won a big title, a Premier League, a Champions League title, because that's Man United and that's where we're expected to be? That's, I think, something you might want to think about. But here's what I think. And I'll tell you whether I think he's a legend or not at the end of the video. But give me your opinion. But here's what I think. I personally think, first of all, with how things are faring over just about 5 months into Ruben Amorim's time as coach at Man United, and clearly seeing how Man United are determined to keep Bruno, that's one. Sir Jim Ratcliffe was talking about him, how they need more Bruno's players like him. And we know that there are teams that are going to make crazy bids for him from Saudi. Even clubs, I think, in Europe will still want a player like Bruno, clubs that are doing better currently than Man United. But there clearly seems to be a commitment to keep him, also, or to want to make him happy, because they see how important he is. Because pull Bruno out of this Man United team, we are done. No one makes the team play like he does. He's the only player who does what he does. And what he does is extremely important. But my thinking is, I actually think Bruno can win a major title before he's 34. He has been at Man United for 4 years. He's 30 now, never sick. I will tell you, unlike my initial earlier feelings about him, where I thought naturally he's human, you clock 30, certainly you're going to start losing it. You're going to start getting injuries and all. I actually want to think he's a different kind. I think he does not get enough credit for how he keeps his body fit. I think Bruno is that player who can go on and play the way we see Cristiano Ronaldo non-stop until his late 30s or even 40s, because of how this, perhaps it's a genes thing with Portuguese players, because even Diogo Dalot never gets injured. I don't know whether it's a Portuguese genes thing, but not all Portuguese players are like that. But I think Bruno, like Amorim keeps praising him, is a top professional, knows how to recover, takes care of his body. He's not a crybaby. He just focuses on his football and keeps himself fit. Now, I think if he does so, Bruno can still continue playing at this top level for the next 4 years. And in all fairness, I think in the next 4 years, Ruben Amorim will raise a Man United team that can be able to compete for the Premier League and or even the Champions League, or both. I strongly believe, because seeing what Man United is turning into 5 months into his time at this club, with these same players who are so poor, who have been consistently so poor, the consistency the team is beginning to pick with the same players, the young players that he has coming in and how he brings them on. I think Bruno is going to have a better team around him, a better teammates, a better attitude, a better mentality, a better group of players to push. And I think if they're better, he will also get better. Being the leader, he will certainly be more hungry. He will certainly know he can only be a legend of this club if he wins something major. So I think for me that Bruno Fernandes will be a legend of Man United, because I think he will win a major title with this team. I actually think if Man United come out of this ordeal that they're in, and even if they didn't win a title when Bruno is there, because I think in less than 4 years, all factors constant, I think Amorim is going to win the Premier League or the Champions League. That's my honest opinion. In less than 4 years. And it might sound over-ambitious, an excited statement, but I'm just saying this, reading from what I've seen Amorim do and the changes going on at the club and what clearly I believe he can do. But even if it didn't happen, Man United will climb up again and finish second or even third in the league. If that happens, I will tell you, because certainly Bruno will still have an integral part in it. He will still be scoring goals for fun. He will still be creating assists for fun, creating big chances for fun. I think for me, he will still qualify to be a legend. If United climbs up again in the years to come and finishes among the top 3 in the Premier League and goes back to the Champions League and of course maybe reaches the semi-finals, even if they don't win, for me, Bruno will be a legend at the club. Not because of what he has won with the team, but because of his individual performances and consistency. His consistency and fitness is legendary. It's hitherto unseen or rather unheard of in football. I don't remember, and Keke I think was the one who was reminding me of one game which he missed because of injury. I actually did not remember the game at all. I don't ever remember Bruno missing because of injury. There's a game under Erik ten Hag where he was playing with something on his arms. And I'm thinking, I mean, this guy is immortal or what? The guy just doesn't fall sick. He's always there. And even when he has got a bandage on his arms, wrapped around his arms, he's still chasing every ball, fighting for every ball, directing his teammates, taking shots, creating chances. Even in his worst days, Bruno is still working hard. So for me, that alone is legendary, considering where we are as Man United and how his individual performances have helped us survive relegation. I'll tell you, Bruno and Andre Onana are the two reasons why Manchester United is not going to be relegated this season. Pull these goals out of Man United and his assists, United, where would we be? Think about it. Pull certain magical saves by Andre Onana out of Man United, where would we be? So I not that I wanted to bring in Onana in the conversation of Bruno, but I'm just saying, because I wanted to be consistent with what I've been saying, that partly Andre Onana is the reason United is not relegated. But the biggest reason why United is not in relegation now, is not yet threatened by relegation, is Bruno Fernandes. And for me, that consistency, next 4 years he will be 34. I'll tell you, he'll still be playing at this top level. 8 years of consistency, doing the things he does, for me, that's legendary. Especially if we can climb back into top 4 places and compete for the Champions League and be or finish somewhere respectable. So Roy Keane, captain, fantastic, can attack him and all that. What he says is what we see. Coaches have told him about it. I know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer too noted it and spoke to him about how he looks. It doesn't look good when you're over, passionate and, throwing arms around. And I think Amorim too spoke about it and said they're trying to help him. And I think he has improved in that area. Yes, we see that, but who wouldn't be? If you're the captain, you're as good as Bruno, and you're playing for a long time with a bunch of players who have got no desire at all, making you look mediocre. Certainly you will frown and throw your arms around inevitably because you don't want to be a part of it. Naturally, the natural instinct of a human is you try to protect yourself, especially if you think you're doing your best. So for me, I don't want to read into what Roy Keane said about him, and I love Bruno's response, but I'll tell you, 4 years from now, and I'm sure he'll still be at United, Bruno will be a legend at the club. Give me your opinion about it in the comment section. Cheers.